Welcome to the reason that I started this channel. I wanted to build, for me anyway, the ultimate 486, true 486. I've got some other systems, like I've got a K62 500 that I can clock anywhere between 500 all the way down to about, I think, 133 or 166, and that's been a great DOS/Windows 98 computer, mostly DOS, but I wanted to build a proper DOS, maybe Windows 95 style computer. So over the last few weeks, I've been trying to source parts. For me, one of the big ones was this new old stock DX4 compatible motherboard. For now, it's got an IBM DX4 100 megahertz processor on it. Managed to find a new old stock CPU fan. This is a Radlib Adlib clone from texelec.com, texelec.com. Really super cool. I'm also going to put a Sound Blaster card in this, but I don't have it here on the table. Panning off a little bit, we've got a SD to IDE adapter, which I plan on using. This is a Super I/O card that's open box. As far as I can tell, it's never been used. It does come with a floppy disk driver utility, which I hope works. If it does, I'll make an image of it, and that'll be important. If it doesn't, well, I'll have to figure something out. Back in the day, these aren't the fastest, but back in the day I had a Trident video card, although I don't think I had this one. This is a TGUI 9440 with 1 meg on board. I'll eventually upgrade it to 2. Not that it would really do much difference, but hey, you know, the parts are relatively cheap. And then these are some refurbished 32 meg fast page memory 72 pin DIMMs or SIMs. I'm not sure. Anyway, I think they're DIMMs. Correct me in the comments. But yeah, so these are the major components. Later on in this video, probably part 1, I think, of this video is mostly going to be prepping the donor system, which is a Pentium 1 AT based system, and mainly I'm just going to harvest the case, clean it out really super good. So I think that's what we're going to do next. So yeah, these are some of our parts. I'll go grab the donor system and get it on the bench so you can see what it looks like, and I'll tell you about my plans for it. And I think, again, mainly part 1 is going to be cleaning up that donor system, and then probably part 2 is going to be installing all this hardware in that system, which hopefully I can do today, but I like to break these up into about 10-15 minute videos and go from there. So hopefully you enjoy this, and come along for the ride. So here is the donor system. She's not going to win any beauty contests, but mechanically I think that it's in pretty good condition. See a little tiny bit of rust here. The back is in pretty good condition. I live in California, so rust is usually not too big of an issue. I like that the bottom of this thing is also painted, and the rubber feet are in pretty good shape. They're not quite perfect. But yeah, I think this is going to be a great case for the 486. Is it period? Probably not exactly period. I mean, if you really wanted an awesome 486, you'd build it into a desktop or something, right? But yeah, I mean, it's period enough. It's an AT case. This one actually has a PS2 port on it, which is cool. And I love all these little add-ons, so I'm hoping that these are going to get used. We're just going to go ahead and take both side panels off. Ooh, that one's really short. All right, pretty clean. This is the back. Shouldn't be anything terribly amazing to see here. Very clean, amazing. Now, of course, this will need a new, well, I could use this power supply, but it's chock full of dust and it's super duper old. I happen to have a new old stock AT power supply. I think it's a 250 watt with a nice strong 5-volt rail. So that should be good. All right, let's go ahead and remove ribbon cables. All right, and I think we are free. Pretty handsome little motherboard. Oh. This case is solid, and it's also got a lot of stuff in it, I guess. But yeah, so I think we're good there. So we got the case flipped around, and we're gonna go ahead and take off this motherboard tray. It looks like this lifts up a little bit. Yeah, how cool is that? Not bad for such an old system, huh? Oop, easy, buddy. This is some kind of Intel motherboard. Well, the motherboard is an SDP5TA with a relatively normal looking, looks like a 40mm fan. Still pretty springy. It's probably loud, but that's okay. This is a black PCB. I'm guessing it's a, you know, well, it's one of those really cool black PCBs with the little metal IHS in the middle. It's pretty sweet. Okay. I think that's it. Just got these, ugh, getting dust bunnies on my arm. Just got these annoying clips. I forgot about these. They're the worst. Hey, look at that. So I better save these clips. I'm gonna need them. Yeah. Okay, so this motherboard is free. Might do a video on this, but I also might give it to a friend. We'll see how it goes. Man, AT motherboards, just when they were starting to get really interesting, and then they switched over to ATX, which was for the better, I think. Before we do anything else, let's go ahead and pull out the rest of the drives. Really? So there is, behind the switch, there's a screw. Okay, this one, oh, this one is coming out. Was this one the one with the screw in it? It is, okay. What do we got here? Fujitsu. Can we tell how big this thing is? Model MPE 3064AT. Part number, serial number, hard to say, but it's an IDE drive. So it's got these pretty beefy metal. Come on. All right. Aha, here we go. Sometimes with these, you just gotta get it started. Ah, there we go. Yes. Oh, don't you dare. I have to grab this thing very carefully so I don't cut myself. Woohoo! All right, yeah, check those out. Real metal, because that's how they did it back in the day. Yeah, this thing uses rails. Ah, that's very cool and also a bummer because it's going to limit what I can put in these. Hey, somebody wrote 50X on this. I don't know if I'll use this CD-ROM drive or not, but I am planning on obviously putting a CD-ROM drive in it. Okay, and this one's a little wedged. Not sure what that's wedged. Oh, I can feel it. There we go. It was wedged on the rail. All right, this looks like a pretty modern 2.5, or excuse me, 5 1/4 bay Mitsumi, and looks like it's in pretty good condition. I'll definitely be cleaning it. These 5 1/4 bays are, when I keep saying bays, these 5 1/4 drives are pretty easy to work on. Wow. There's no way the camera's going to see this, but the worm drive actually has a decent amount of lubrication on it, but I'll be putting some white lithium grease on that. All right, floppy drive is not wanting to free itself. All right, what do you got? Helps if you take out all the screws. Okay. Ta-da! What do we got? Panasonic. This one looks like a really standard build. Take those out. This lifts away, so we'll give this one a cleaning also. And wow, that is really trick. It's got a metal mesh dust filter. It looks somewhat effective. I mean, there's dust on it. And this looks like it just lifts up a little bit. Oop, is there another one down low? But it's a little too stiff to lift away, so I guess we'll leave that there for the moment. And then this drive here needs to come out, but in order to do that, we need to, does this go to the, yes it does. So we're gonna undo, there's a ground right here, and then right above it is our switch, power switch. So let's go ahead and take these out. So ideally I can reuse this switch in the other system, but I may have to transplant the switch out of the other system. So I haven't built an AT system in a very long time, but this is kind of neat. So right here, there is a little bracket, and then that wedges right in here. It looks like maybe either the power supply came with this, and this is like a fully compatible AT thing, or this is a feature of the case. But then the power supply would have had to have screw holes for that. All right. So that's interesting. So you can see here, I guess on the 486s and older, the 5 amp rail needed to be stronger. This is only a 200 watt power supply, and it's only putting 2 amps. Oh, I'm dumb. That's 20 amps on the 5 volt rail. So yeah, that's a lot of amps on the 5 volt rail. So obviously I'm not gonna just throw this thing away quite yet. I probably could have just left it in this computer and it would have been fine, but well, and that's actually at least a brand I've heard of. The other one, not so much. So this may end up going back in the system. We'll see.